Hey guys, it's James here from Mech Reviews. Now, you would have seen I've reviewed both of these guns in front of you. It's the HW110 and the 100. Now, one of the questions that seems to pop up the most is which one's better, which one should I buy, you know, little things like that. So the video today, it's not going to be a long video, it's just to address a couple of those questions and to kind of try and answer them for you. Now, it's worth noting at this point that the 110 is the newer gun. It's come out, it's the only PCP apart from the 100 that they've ever done. So the 100 came first, then the 110. Now, it was never meant to come out as a replacement. It's quite widely documented. It's supposed to be its own standalone rifle. It's got different magazine, a different block. All of the action's completely different. The only thing that I think it shares is the cylinder. As I say, completely different guns. So that's the first kind of question kind of answered, really. Is it a better, you know, is it taken over? Well, it's a different rifle. It's like comparing a Daystate Renegade to a Daystate Huntsman Classic. Yeah, they're both made by Daystate, but they're different rifles. So what we're going to do is we're just going to move in a little bit closer, do a quick walk around them both, and I'll just show you a couple of the key differences here, excluding the price, because obviously we all know that's different. So we'll have a quick look at the differences, and I'll let you guys draw your own conclusions. Now, one thing, this is the defining kind of difference, really. The 110 uses a ballistics polymer, very much like the Glock frames, etc. It's widely reported. And the HW just uses a normal metal block. Now, for me, one big difference is obviously this section here and this section here are separate on the HW100, and the top, because it uses a 14-round magazine, there's no kind of bridger as such. So they are separate pieces. Now, people have argued and claimed, not something I've ever come across, that you do get a zero shift because these two blocks are independent. Now, the 110, because it's all this one piece block here, the magazine sits in the slot, but there is a bridge across the top. So this is all one piece, so there's no movement in this action at all. Now, as I say, it's not something I've come across, but, you know, it's a bit of a plus point for the 110 there. Now, this is where kind of the main difference for me is. Now, this size of these rifles. Now, the HW100 that you can see in the background is the carbine. And to be honest, it's not actually much shorter than the standard 110. The 110, if you put this next to a standard 100, is a lot shorter. And yeah, it's quite a difference. Now, as I say, there are different versions of the HW100. You've got the 100 and the carbine, etc. For the moment, there is only just the 110 that you can see in front of you, and it is incredibly short. Now, the stock is still wood underneath that plastic kind of coating that it's got. It's like a Duracoat rubberized kind of weatherproofing. Now, one thing I have noticed, and we'll have a look at in 2 seconds when I drop the actions out of both of these rifles, is that even the bits that you can't see, they've sealed. Now, that was my big problem with the Daystates when they did their tactical series. They weren't sealed correctly, and I took it out in some mist and the stock blew. Now, looking at this one in detail, it doesn't look like they are going to kind of have that same problem. Weihrauch have done things properly, no surprise there, and yeah, it's all been done as you would expect. So let's drop the actions out of both of these two, and if you still can't tell what the difference is after that, then maybe you need my glasses more than I do. Okay guys, so this in essence is why these guns aren't really comparable. It's because they look the same, yes, but they are completely different. As you can see, the block on this, completely different firing mech to just the one up here. And as I say, all of this is metal. It's basically a two-piece part here. So this section here just bolts on, there's no bridge. Whereas down here, it's all connected by this kind of polymer housing. Now, as I say, they are very different. The trigger mechs, yeah, they couldn't be more different if they tried. The 100 trigger is by far the better trigger. You can adjust it in my opinion, a lot better than the 110. Sorry, it's still a very good trigger. Don't get me wrong, but this one just seems to kind of set itself that little bit extra. So what we'll do is just quickly move out, and I'll just show you a quick comparison with the stocks. Okay, so while we've got the guns apart, I just wanted to show you 2 things that are quite interesting. Now, this is the carbine stock from my 100, and this obviously is the rather tactical looking black stock. This is a standard length stock for the 110. If you put the two next to each other, you can see there's no difference. They are both the same size. So the standard length for the 110 is a hell of a lot shorter than the standard length for the 100, because it's the same as the KT that we've got here. Now, as I just explained with the actions as well, they are very, very short. Now, if I lay these two up, obviously making sure we don't damage them, there's really not much in it. Now obviously I've got a shorter barrel, shorter moderator on here, and that's where the difference comes. But when you take the moderators off, they are very, very similarly matched. Which, as I say, again, for a standard rifle, this is a very, very short gun. So let's quickly put these guns back together and let's move in for the conclusion. Okay, so hopefully that's answered a few questions for you. Now, like I say, they are two very different guns, and to compare them, they look the same, but from a technology point of view, they are very different guns. So yeah, it's one of those things. If you're defined by budget and you're limited by budget, then I would say go for the 110 any day. The reason for that is because it comes in at about £100 less than this one. You can buy a good scope and a decent set of mounts for the price that you could only just buy the Benchmade gun of this. So you can have a full hunting setup for the price of a very naked 100. So from that point of view, that's where it would kind of come into its own. Now for me personally, if budget allows, go for the 100. In my opinion, it's a little bit kind of, I don't know how to work. I don't know how to word it really, but it is the better rifle. It's just made a lot nicer. The metal block, in my opinion, suits me better. And yeah, it's time proven. It's just a bit of a winner. It's one of those ones. I don't think we will ever agree which one you should go for. But if you ended up with either or, I would not be disappointed. Weihrauch know what they're doing. When it comes to German engineering, these guys are just on it. As I say before, and if you've seen the main review for the 110, Weihrauch don't come out with limited editions or special editions or a Mark 2.4.5.6 or whatever. They just come out with a gun. And for a long time, the HW100 was the only PCP that they came out with. And a lot of people were saying, are they going to come out with another one? Are they not? And then they released the 110. Now, there were problems with it when it first came out, but they've sorted that. There's been nothing but good reviews I've seen anyway, ever since. So, as I say, they don't do things often, but when they do it properly. Anyway, that's just pretty much all done. If you like what you've seen, feel free to click subscribe. Any questions, any comments, put them in the box below. I'll do my best to answer every single one of you. Providing a comment I can answer. And, if I can give any more advice, I will. If you want to check out more from us, obviously feel free to subscribe. We do have a Facebook page as well. Feel free just to search Replica Reviews on Facebook and we'll pop straight up. But anyway, left with me waffling on. We will see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.